I guess on my hair, she look all right. And with that actually sitting there like this creams, and I had to have them, sis. All 5 of them. Here, I just had, we're gonna discontinue it, but I had to pick up their book of shadows, honey. Color grade makes cheap fan, expensive breeze, good times. Wow, so serious. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's Torrence here, and in today's video, I'm doing something special. Not only do I want to dedicate this video to a dear friend of mine on the platform, we'll talk about that later on. I wanted to make sure I did this purple look in dedication to her, and we're going to be using the Blend Bunny Cosmetics palette. This is my very first palette from the brand. It's called the Dollhouse, and I've never tried anything from them simply because I did not know which palette to grab first. I'm a colorful person, and I knew in person I wanted that. But I'm like, Torrence, you also do YouTube for the rest of the world, and you know they like neutrals. So I'm like, Torrence, who you satisfy? Yourself or your subscribers? I gave it to y'all, honey. This is what she looks like on the inside, and as you can see, she got some color, so she gonna satisfy me. But she also got some neutrals for you all. If you all want a second look with this palette, because this is the only one we're going to be doing for this video, you can leave me a comment down below. But before we get into this tutorial, I got to show you all them swatches, so let's get ready. And here she is in all her glory, honey. The Dollhouse palette by Blend Bunny Cosmetics. I have been excited to try this brand for quite a while, but did not know exactly which palette to start out with first. And this one here seemed to grab my eye because it was a mixture of colorful and neutrals, and I knew that that would be something you all would be interested in. And here we are on the inside. This palette is absolutely beautiful. I didn't realize until after I purchased it that it has 6 different color stories going down by columns. I know that 5th row looks like all matte blacks. I'm trying to shift it so you can see that they are just deeper shades of the colors that are in that color story. I'm going to go ahead and see if there's any way I'm going to come a little closer for you all. So that way you can see those are not blacks. They are just very deep, rich tone colors for each color story here. At the very top, we have shimmers of each color story. Looks like we have transition, crease, outer V shades, as well as lid shades. So I am truly excited about this palette. But with no further ado, you know we got to go ahead and get into these swatches. Alright, you guys, this is what the swatches of the first half of the palette looks like. She is stunning and beautiful. Although I did expect that first row to be neutrals and that second row to be purples, I did not realize how cool toned that third row was going to be. And she is beautiful. Transition shades, a matte black, a shimmery black. Honey, this row here, or this first half, is perfect for everyday wear. And I cannot wait to get into that colorful side on the second half. Yes, ma'am. Look at these colors here. When I tell you that quint on the end, that green one, baby, I want to dive right into it. But the last look I did was green, so we're going to avoid it. But when I tell you the shimmers in here are so beautiful, so smooth, I cannot wait to get into this quad. So let's go ahead, grab our brushes, and let's get started. Alright, you guys, it's time to get started. As with all tutorials, all tools and product shoes will be in the description bar below. I'm not gonna lie to you all, I really need to hurry up, get this done, because I am recording this on May 20th, which, if many of you know, was the day that I broke my leg. And so with this being the 1-year anniversary, I really wanted to do something to lift my spirits. I did not just want to be in the house all day crying, thinking about my injuries. I wanted to do something positive, something that would just have me feeling much better than what I am now. And the Dollhouse palette is here, honey. She is beautiful. She's going to go ahead and get me to do something productive, something that's going to help me do something creative. But before we get started, I do have to let you all know, this palette is absolutely beautiful, but these shades are pigmented. Especially this 5th row here, they leave staining. I done washed my hands about twice, and you can see from where I did them swatches, that black there, and I believe this was that dark purple here. I think they're gonna be here for the next 24 hours. So we just gonna leave those there because I'm not scrubbing my arm no more. But let's go ahead and get into this because we've been talking long enough. I'm gonna pull me some brushes down from right here, see which ones we gonna get into. And we are gonna start things off because I want to do a purple look today. I know normally I would go for the greens, but I received some news from a friend and I would like to dedicate this video to her. We're gonna get a little more into that later, but I'm gonna try to focus on this entire second column here. I'm not 100% sure that I'm gonna use that first shade there, but what we do know is we're gonna start off with our transition shade here, Hold Me. I'm gonna take that and build that throughout my entire crease. And because this is a brand we've never tried before, although we've loaded our brush up, you know, we like to tap off our excess because we can always come back for more. And we're just gonna see what she goes like. I'm just gonna buff her through and I can already see that color shining, honey. This transition shade, I'm quite sure is coming off on camera. You all can see that coming through, but as fast as that blended, that was shocking. So what we're gonna do is go in with one more layer, build her up to see just how pigmented she is. Alrighty, honey, I am liking this. You see she built up even more. She's coming off truly as a pastel purple on my complexion, but I think even you can see that there. I want to just buff that up a little bit higher, and we're going to leave that just like that. I'm already here to tell you. I ain't heard nothing but good things about Dollhouse, and just how fast and easy that blended out has me excited on what's going next. So I'll be right back after we do this on the other side. All I can tell you is that this first shade by itself is already beautiful. I'm looking at this next shade here, no strings. It goes in the crease, and if this builds and blends as fast as this first shade did, I think we might have a new favorite, but I ain't gonna jump that far ahead. We just gonna go ahead and keep playing first. Tap off that excess, because hunty, the pigmentation has been there, and we're gonna see what she offering. Start here. The build is beautiful. She's blending up nice. She's not giving me the world's most pigmentation because she is more buildable, but it's all about that second layer. Y'all see how fast that first one came through. Let's go in and see. She's gonna give us a little more. Tap off excess, start on this outer end. And you see that built up. So baby, I am loving her. For me personally, I think this is much more beautiful for an everyday, you know, purple look. But you know, I love a deep, dark jewel tone look. We're gonna leave this here. BM, she is beautiful. You know what? I was debating on whether I wanted to go in and add more. We'll wait on that. We just gonna do this, put this on the other side, and I'll be right back. I know it's early in this review, honey. I know it's early. But when I tell you all, finding shadows that build this quickly is shocking. And I'm looking at this next purple here called Cinch. It's the darkest purple in the palette. We got to build up our crease, honey. I know dark purples are usually notoriously hard to blend and build, but I'm about to go in and we're gonna see what we got coming. You see we got this brush loaded. Knock off our excess because I want to see just how well this builds on its own, honey. And we're gonna start our lowest part of the crease and see what she coming with. Okay, and we're just gonna be honest, honey, this ain't building quite as easily as that first shade did. No, I meant blending, it's building. But with this being the darkest shade, that is expected. But as long as she don't give us no patchiness or no bad areas on the second layer, she gonna be good to go. Let's go in one more time. And let's see, because you can already tell with that first layer, the build is there. It's just I want to see just how deep and how dark that can get. Oh yeah, honey. I'm starting to forget that I got hooded eyes because this is giving me the look of a lid. Ooh. Let me raise my brush just to go ahead and diffuse that edge. Do you see that, honey? Anytime you can get deep enough to make me believe that that's my real crease, You know I'm gonna be in love. I'll be right back, sis. Alright, you guys, things are exceeding my expectations already. I am ecstatic to get these lid shades going, but we're gonna take our NYX glitter primer, Morphe M421 brush, and we're gonna, I wouldn't say cut our crease, we're gonna cover our lids. Gonna just make sure I get my entire lid covered. Not really worried about precision or anything today. So we are gonna take this, just plop some right there in the center of the lid and just spread it all the way across. I like to start near the bottom of my lashes because I usually forget that area. And then I'm just gonna take my brush and rock it back and forth as deep into my crease as I can possibly get it. I do not want to take this above my natural crease. And after just moving this back and forth, you will see that all areas are covered, and then you just want to make sure you have an even layer of primer after that. And you can see that lid is covered, and even though I may spread those shimmers a little further than that, I just wanted to make sure I have it here. That way I can have a softer blend and not create a cut crease look. Although every shade on the bottom row is beautiful to me, we're going to try to stick to this purple and go to this shade here, Imaginary. It's the deepest purple in the palette, and I want this all over the center of my lid, and I want to leave a little space on the inner and outer corner for other shades that we're going to put down later. Okay, and now we're going to take this shade here, Imaginary, on a brush, and we're going to bring this all the way straight down through the center. And I must admit, this shade was not the absolute easiest to pick up with the brush, so I'm going to try and see if that's because I can get it better with a silicone applicator on the other side. But we're going to take this all the way across until we have most of our center of our lid covered. And she's coming off beautiful, but what I want to see is how will she apply with a silicone applicator. So let me grab that. I have my Makeup Forever 224 brush. I'm going to use this. We're going to take Imaginary with the silicone applicator on this side and see what she does over here. And yeah, this definitely picks up easier with a silicone applicator. But when I sit back and look, it's not as if it's giving me much more pigment or anything than it did with the brush. So although I think if you want the job to get done faster, you can use your finger or silicone applicator. But if, like me, and you feel as if you prefer working with a brush, let me see. Okay, and this shade is buildable, so if you go in with several layers, you'll get it. But I'm gonna just say, one layer with a brush and one layer with a silicone applicator looks about even to me. So it's a matter of, do you want to swipe once with this or swipe several times with your regular brush? I'm going to be right back after I try to get these two even and show you what the next step is going to be. To add more depth and dimension with this look, I want to go in and deepen up my inner and outer V. I'm going to go back in with the same shades and the same brushes we used before. So first we want to go in with this shade here, No Strings, and our medium fluffy blending brush, and we're going to just pack that on the inner and outer corner just to get things started. And what I've done is just press my brush on one side into the product, the other side doesn't have any, and we're still going to tap off our excess, and we're going to just use this and we're going to literally just press it from the outer corner up until the edge of that shadow there. It doesn't have to be a complete seamless blend because we can go back in with our shimmer shade and diffuse the edges, but I like to take one brush width in the front right here, one brush width in the back right here, and press that matte shadow down. That way, as you can see on this side, it looks a little drier right here on the inner and outer corner than it does on this side. And once we go in and deepen that up a little more, it'll give it a slight hollowness so that this seems to rise up and this part seems to sink down. Be right back after we do this on the other side. Now the final step to deepen up our inner and outer V is to go in with our deepest purple shade. That'll be this shade here, Cinch, and our smallest brush. And then we're going to take and press that on just the outer half of that first shade that we put down, which is No Strings. We want there to be a gradient from the very deepest point on the outer point of the eye as we go up to a lighter matte and then up to the shimmer. Once again, we're going to take our smallest brush, pick up product on one side, tap off the excess because we can go back in for more. And I want to make sure I can see where all that product is, get a good view. We can see we have matte from here to about this point. So we're going to come halfway out and sweep backwards. I'm not worried about getting it on my skin or anything because I can cover that with concealer. But I want to press this on the outermost plane here and sweep back. That way you can see that darkest color cinched here, this color no strings here, and right here at the top we have imaginary. And it doesn't have to be the most perfect blend because once we are through with this, we can always go in, knock off product off our brush, and then help diffuse those layers. But right now I want to be able to actually see them here. And you can see at the very front end, it's really dark right there. And on the very back end, it's really dark compared to this side, where it's just one nice light even color going all the way back, but we're gonna fix that, so I'll be right back. And just to make sure if for any reason I did want to diffuse my lines or my edges, I would take my brush, wipe it off on the back of my hand just to knock off any excess product. You could use a brush changer, you could use a microfiber cloth or anything like that. I just find this fastest. Then we would go back in with no product on the brush and we would start from the lowest part and just slightly diffuse that line into the lowest point of the crease. You would do that from the front end and the back end, and you would only take it up to the shimmer shade at first if you feel comfortable with that. If you feel as if your blend still isn't where you want it to be, then you could take it up even further. But you just don't want there to be an exact harsh line. But you want there to be a point where you notice it's much darker on the inner and outer points than it is here. Because once we clean up our eyeshadow, that's how our halo eye is going to come off looking extra beautiful. And now I'm sitting back looking at her like, okay, Torrence, everything looking cute so far. I don't know if we need to take this any further. But if we do, we can always do that later. So what I'm going to do is cut away, finish off the face, and when I come back, I'm going to show you how we're going to finish off the eyes. Alright you guys, we are back, and I want to go ahead and tell you all what I used off camera. I must admit, I am coming back late because I was having a good time on the phone with my bestie. I was crying right here because I was laughing so hard that it did smudge just this tiniest bit right here. But it looked like she might be good for the rest of the day, so we're going to go ahead and leave her alone. But off camera, I did want to go ahead and let you know, in my last video, I believe it was the Juvia's Place video, makeup didn't go quite as well as I wanted it to, so I'm like, Torrence, pull out some old favorites, make sure you know exactly what's going on, because my skin is still peeling. It might not look like it, but I'm like, Torrence, you need something that's going to last all day, not going to move, not going to budge. So let me go ahead and tell you all what we're wearing. Lately I've been enjoying this combo for primers. I always wear the Becca Ever Matte underneath my foundation, underneath all my primers to help reduce oiliness. But I found this primer here. This is the Maybelline Master Prime. I usually like shade 100, which is right here. I have another bottle that I want to go ahead and get through. But I found this old bottle of 050, which is the hydrating primer. I want to get through this and I love it. It's just that I come to find that the only time I can wear this one is if I have a matte foundation on top of it. Any other time, I just feel as if my makeup doesn't last quite as long because I'm someone who has oily skin and I like to bake. And usually if I'm wearing this primer, I usually don't bake. So I'm like, okay, Torrence, yesterday she was a little shiny for you. So instead of going in with my Nars Sheer Glow, today I went in with the Nars Soft Matte Complete Foundation. I have a tutorial up for this. This is absolutely beautiful. She is full coverage. She is matte. She is beautiful. I'm loving her. Surprised that I put her back down. Wait, make sure that wasn't my lips doing that. I'm like, hold on, what's going on? Concealer. I finished up my Nars Radiant Concealer and I've been trying to, no, the Radiant Creamy Concealer. I'm trying to finish up this Too Faced Born This Way concealer. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do it because although she's hydrating as well, she half an ounce and that's half of a foundation. I've been using her for well over a year and she's not even halfway done. So We're going to continue to try to use her up, but we do have other foundations we want to use, so we're going to get those out there. For the blush, I have my Clinique Cheek Pop in the shade Black Honey Pop. I love this blush. I think I have this and another one in Cola Pop. Cola Pop is way too deep for me. I've repurchased this before. I think this is the only shade that I use and love. Anytime they come out with a palette, I always tell myself I'm gonna get it, never do, because I've never seen a shade quite as beautiful as this one from Clinique. Compact and small. You just can't get it from me. If this ever goes bad, I'm gonna get another one because I've never hit pan and finished one up, but her, she's mine. For the eyes, for the lower lash line, I have my Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Eye Pencil and Psychedelic Sister. Favorite purple eyeliner, had to do that. For mascara, I went with my favorite duo, the Lancome Cils Booster as mascara primer. Trying to finish off this Monsieur Big sample. I know I have, I think, 2 or 3 full sizes in my drawer over there, so I'm like, I need to go ahead and get rid of her. I wanted a mascara that was gonna show up and show out today. I didn't have time to play. That mascara from yesterday I threw out. For lips, I wanted to make sure I tested out those lip products from the Juvia's Place video from yesterday again. So today I decided we're gonna go in with the gloss. This is in the shade Oasis, and as you can see, she beautiful. She absolutely fabulous. Yesterday I put her on top of a cream lipstick without having a proper lip liner underneath it. Normally that would work, but it didn't. Today I went in with my MAC lip pencil in the shade Chestnut. I believe this is the darkest brown that I have from them. Put that down first, put this on top of it, no issues. So I know for sure it was not this gloss yesterday that gave me issues. It has to be either the fact that I didn't have anything underneath that lipstick or just the lipsticks themselves. We're gonna test those out again to fan out. What else am I looking for? Oh, highlighter, honey. Because I know I was telling y'all about that blush, but look at this glow. Look at that highlighter, sis. She is not for play. Same palette from yesterday. The Danessa Myricks Lightwork 1 palette. She fabulous, honey. 6 pans. Yesterday I wore this shade Easy Breezy because I felt as if it complements my skin tone. Today I went in for this pink one here called Piece of Cake. I wanted something that would complement this purple look, so I'm like, a pink highlighter would do it, but I don't want something that just screams pink at you with my yellow tone skin. That cooler highlighter just catches the light that much more, helps that blush shine. She's fabulous. I'm telling you, if you all want a highlighter palette, Danessa Myricks does not play. I am loving it, but we not through yet because I'm looking around, I'm like, anything else? I think that's all, but eyes are not complete. I still have to go in, we have to do our lower lash line, we have to highlight our inner corner and our brows, and I still want to go in and do a little extra step and put one more item right there on the lid. So let's go ahead and get into it. Because this look is already rather dark, I do not want it to look black underneath my eyes. I already have mascara for that. So what we're going to do is start off with a pencil brush. We're going to take our larger pencil brush, this shade here, Hold Me. We're going to use that to blow out our lower lash line. Then to deepen things up and give us a little more dimension, we're going to take a slightly smaller blending brush, a smaller pencil brush, and we're going to go back into this shade here, No Strings, and push that even closer to the lash line. Normally I would go in with our darkest shade as well, but I feel as if this shade and this color story here is dark enough and I don't want it to look like I got punched in the eye. And we already know, because we're going in with a shade that could look like a bruise, you want to tap off your excess. If she was a pale brown, I would be okay. But a purple, we not gonna risk it. Start off outer corner, buff our way toward the front. And I'm not really worried about precision, but I don't want my brush to just be flying all over the place. And I know this is a shade that is much more buildable. So we're gonna go in one more layer. And because I'm comfortable, I don't mind starting from the front on the second layer. If you are worried, just make sure you start from the back each time, and then you can blend it out where your brush has less product. And I don't know if that's showing up on camera, but in person you can already see that purple smoke coming through, and she is beautiful. Now that we have a smaller blending brush and our shade No Strings, we're gonna tap off that excess, Start from the outer end and we're going to go in for it. And to me, that's the color that's going to give us the purple we want. This is just dark enough to let everybody know we have purple on the lower lash line. If we were to go in with that next shade, let's say if I was going to the club or something, I will surely do it just to make sure it stood out in flash photography. But for everyday life, this one shade here will be enough. And I wish you all could just see how blown out and beautiful this is in person, honey. This purple here is fabulous. Be right back. Alright you guys, we've already used 4 of the 5 shades in this column to make sure we get this eye look complete. And I realized the only one left is this blue here at the top. It is called Glass Eyes. Because that shade is so dark, I don't want to use that as the inner corner highlight. So what I'm going to do is take a small brush and use that to highlight the very center of my lid. I don't want this color Glass Eyes to take over the look, but I do want it to be popping. So what I'm going to do is take my Morphe M421 brush. I don't have any additional product on it, but there was glitter glue on top of it. I'm just going to take it, rub it around the back of my hand like this to help loosen some of that product up. Some will come off on the back of my hand, and I'm just going to go back into that. And what we're going to do here is just go straight down the center of your lid. Any residual product that is on there, you just want it to come down and create a slightly tacky base for this next color. You technically don't have to do this, it's just something I like to do. And this next shade here, Glass Eyes, is the shade we want to use. And normally you would pick product up with your brush like this to get the most product. But I'm going to do is turn it sideways so it's very thin and go in and get just a small streak of that product right there on the brush. That way it's only on that one side here. And when I go in for my lids, it'll be very difficult for it to cover up the entire area. So I want to go in and I want to show you this right here in the center where we had that glitter glue, and we're going to just slide straight down like this. I want this color to come through but not take over. I'm going to add a little more. And because I'm pressing down, you see that brush is slowly starting to spread out, so it'll diffuse those edges without that purple being the only color there. And I'm not sure if it's showing you on camera. This is what it looks like with just a plain purple here. This is what it looks like with that purple with that pop of blue just barely peeking through on this side. You see how this side appears just a little more shiny than the other one. If you wanted more pigmentation, you could use a silicone applicator or your finger. It's just that I generally prefer using brushes. So I'll be back after I do this on the other side. Last step for the eyes is highlighting. And because I want to go ahead and make sure this is over the top, we're going to highlight our inner corner and our brow bone with the exact same shade. The shade that's been catching my eye this whole time is this light pink shade here, Pretend. I really love pinks with purples, and because I know this color is going to pop there, this is the shade we're going to use. Sis, you don't even want to understand how easily this shade Pretend just picked up. She almost looking like a multi-chrome topper, but I don't think she is. But what we're going to do is go ahead and put her in here, and I'm going to turn my head so y'all can see when I place this brush down just how strong this color is. Watch this. That's one press. I ain't blended it. I didn't press it all the way in the way I normally would. And she already popping, Seth. I am loving the shine on her. And you may want to go in a little bit slower. And oh, baby, look. You see the way she popping now that I built her up. Because I'm like, at first she looked like she was going to be a little chunky. But I ain't had no fallout yet. So you know what? We're just going to go ahead, hit this other side up real quickly. And while I'm doing this, I'm thinking about it like, yeah, honey, that's a whole lot of color and a whole lot of pigmentation. So we're going to wipe that on the back of our hand. Then take that and do underneath the brows. If we need more, we can go back and add more. Oh, yeah. The residual sparkles from that. Is that pink showing up on camera? Oh, yes, she is, honey. And just so you all can get a little extra height going, I'm going to add a little bit more. In person, I normally wouldn't do this, but because we're showing this off on camera. Oh, yes, boo. She's fabulous. I got to get a Teeny bit more just for this other side. We're almost complete. The only thing left to do is set everything, so grab your sprays because you know I'm about to grab mine. And today I had to bring out a special bottle of Fix Plus, y'all. This is the Cherry Blossom one. Been saved it for a special occasion, and you know what? I think today is that day. Fix Plus to give us a glowy dew. All nighter, so things will last all day. Cheap fan, expensive breeze, good times. I'm going to give this a few more moments to dry and I'll be back to show you all the final look. And this is the final look. I want to go ahead, give you all a full face view of things before I give you all my final thoughts. And I'm here to tell you all, this palette is absolutely beautiful. She is fabulous. This look that I'm wearing right now, I was not expecting it, but as you all know, I don't consider any palette to be absolutely perfect. Everything has its pros and its cons. And if you all have been paying attention, especially to my last video and what I've been saying in this video, you may have noticed that I have some similarities between this palette and the Juvia's palette that let me grab it since it's right here. Reviewed this palette yesterday, or at least the last video I reviewed, compared to this one, and although they have some similarities, many people may wonder, Torrence, why is it that you would not recommend this to anyone, but chances are you would recommend this one here? And I'm going to go ahead and give it to you. I'm glad I stopped and looked over onto the side because I had no idea my camera stopped recording, so all my final thoughts were lost. I need to re-record those. What was I saying? This here. If you all were paying attention, you may have realized that a lot of the shimmer formulas in this palette are coming off like the shimmers in the previous video that I said, where I noticed it was a lot easier to pick up product with a silicone applicator than it was with a traditional brush. In my previous video for the Nubian Earth right here from Juvia's Place, I said that the difference is with these here, I found that picking it up with a silicone applicator was easy and applying it was easy, and it gave you full pigmentation on that first layer. With a brush, it seemed like you was trying to pick product up forever, and when it finally put it down, it wasn't really the greatest. This second shade here absolutely was beautiful, but the rest of them, you had to go in layer after layer with a brush, or you could go ahead and use your finger or a silicone applicator. With this formula here from the Dollhouse, it's not quite the same. Although certain shades, I believe like this shade here, Pretend, no problem. Pick it up with a brush, lay it down with a brush, she's beautiful. With certain other shades, we're gonna say like Glass Eyes, Imaginary, things like that, picking it up with a silicone applicator and putting it down was easy, full pigmentation that first attempt. With a brush, you do have to swipe and take a little more time picking up the product, but once you pick it up and you put it down, it does give you full pigmentation on that first layer, and I feel as if it is comparable with the silicone applicator. So to me, I don't quite see this as being quite as difficult as the Nubian Earth. Like I said, it takes a little more energy to pick up certain shades with the brush, but once you get them there, they good to go. So I personally feel as if this is a much beautiful formula than the Nubian Earth, and although I wouldn't say she's the easiest to work with as far as the shimmers, I think once a person sits down and get things going, they will be comfortable. So if I had to choose, I would not necessarily say this is beginner friendly, but if you are comfortable with just getting the basics done, this may be the palette that helps you take things to the next step because you may already feel comfortable with blending. So these darker shades may not be an issue for you. If you're already comfortable with applying shadows with a brush, it may feel weird when you go in and you realize, wait, I don't have any, and then you go in and you try again and you realize, oh, there it goes, and then you go on about your day. So I'm gonna say this may take a little more time working with the shimmers, but it makes up for it by how fast those mattes blend. No issue, pigmented, buildable, everything. They are not truly like as pigmented as say some of those original colorful Juvia's Place palettes, but the blend on these will leave nobody doubting themselves. So if you had to ask me, Torrence, would you recommend the Dollhouse palette? Yes, I would, as long as you are already comfortable with doing eyeshadow. I would not say this is your first one. I would not say this is expert level. But if you already know, oh, I like these shades, I know how to use this brush, I'm good with that, she gonna be fabulous. She gonna be fabulous. And the main reason why I wanted to make sure I hurried up and did this review for this palette is because today I'm recording this video on May 20th. I'm not sure if many of you know this, but on May 20th of last year, I broke my leg and ankle in 3 different places, and I'm still dealing with the difficulties of that injury. And I'm not gonna lie, I had already had it planned off in my head. We were gonna spend the day in the house. We weren't gonna answer the phone, we weren't gonna answer the door. We was just gonna cry ourselves into a hole and just be upset about what's going on in our life. And recently, I noticed that someone made a post. I'm gonna pull her Instagram page up. I'll make sure I leave that link down below. Her name is Lorraine Johnson Coleman, and she is one of the most positive people in the beauty community. I absolutely love her channel. I love her page, well, not her channel, I absolutely love her page. And one of the things I like about Miss Lorraine is the fact that she gives it to you how it is. She's gonna speak her mind, she's gonna say it with a kind word, but she's also gonna be stern on her opinion. If she feels as if you're doing something nice, she's gonna say that. If she feels as if you're being disrespectful or being mean or hateful, you're also gonna get checked about that as well, because Miss Lorraine don't play being mean. And it really hurt my feelings when I realized that she opened up her heart and her, emotions to the world and let us know that she's been hesitating about getting a particular surgery that's coming up for her. And it made me sit back and contemplate how much negativity I was putting in about my own condition. Like I said, I didn't want to do anything. I'm just sitting back. I've been telling myself I don't want the next surgery. And to realize that she was able to open up to the community and let everybody know what's going on with her life, it just let me know that I should count my blessings. I really need to have a more positive outlook on my life and my condition. And so one of her friends started the hashtag, I want to see, it's called hashtag We Are Here For You, Lorraine. And I wanted to make sure that I participated in this just to show Miss Lorraine that we are here for her, we love her, and we are supporting her. And I just wanted her to know that she's not going through this alone. She let it be known that she does not have a favorite color, but if for any reason she did have to pick a color for this challenge, she wanted everyone to do purple, and that's why I have this look here. Even though you all know greens are my color, there was no way in the world I was going to go ahead and not get this look put out today. Although this video may not go up till Tuesday because I still want some time to make sure I edit it and get it done right, I will be posting this picture on Instagram today for her. So I hope you all, if you do have the chance and you have Instagram, please check out the description bar below for her channel. Make sure you go over to her page, give her a thumbs up on all of her pictures. Make sure you leave some kind words for her because she is truly one of the most beautiful and kind and open people on the platform. And I just really want her to know that we are here for her. Like the hashtag say, we are here for you, Lorraine. And I want you to truly believe that. And so I know I'm getting emotional because I'm like, Torrence, you're starting to slow your words, your voice starting to crack. So I don't want to start tearing up now because I still want to make sure that I get pictures and things up for this look and this video. So we're going to try to end things here before we get any further and any more emotional. But with nothing else, I hope you all really did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Make sure you're also subscribed to the channel because I'm going to continue to try to get at least 3 more videos out per week for you all. But with nothing else, I hope you all remember to practice, continue to stay blessed, and until next time, goodbye, YouTube.